All right, we are here at the Bloomberg Screentime event in the heart of Hollywood, and we are doing a live recording of The Town. You can tell it's live because applause. Thank you for applauding when I asked you to. All right, so Lucas, first of all, welcome and congratulations.
Thanks for coming here. Year 2.
I said last year that this was your bar mitzvah.
Yeah. What do we do with year 2? Is it someone suggested last night quinceañera?
Maybe a quinceañera would be good. Yeah, we need to get you a big house.
Because we're going to do enough of these, hopefully, that I can't just go straight to like college graduation or.
No, we'll go slowly. It'll be like a slow rollout, like a TV show. All right. So we are going to do a version of what we did last year, which is buy and sell various things throughout Hollywood. They can be companies, they can be people, they can be concepts, they can be specific deals. And the twist is that we're going to try to sell high and buy low, meaning you can't just say a company that's bankrupt is a sell.
Right.
You have to go out on a limb and say a company that may be doing okay right now or great is a sell.
Right.
But before we start, I want to at least give a little background and surprise you a little bit because as people know, when we did our big Dodger game outing you graciously took us to the Dodger game for me winning the box office.
You just had to take a moment at my event to remind me that I lost to something.
No, trust me, it gets worse.
Even though we just put me winning the concert draft in like the postscript of an episode.
Yeah, that'll happen. But people don't care about that. They care about the box office draft. So the point of this is that we went to the game. I took a very lovely photo of the three of us in our seats, drinking our soju, enjoying the game. I put that photo on Twitter. For the first time, people on social media were seeing what the three of us, Craig included, look like.
This ended very badly for me.
There were some very interesting tweet responses to that photo, some of which I would like to read right now.
Matt, I'm just going to tell you because you're not paying attention to the prompter, you got to take your badge off.
Oh, why? There we go. All right, great audio there. Okay, so these are responses on Twitter to the photo, very nice photo that I posted of myself with Craig and with Lucas. Response number 1. Your sons look beautiful. 2 twinks and a daddy.
These both seem like compliments.
I guess I'm the daddy in this one. Dream blunt rotation. Lucas definitely looks like he has aluminum wrap covered windows. I don't know what that one is. Not flattering though. The medical tourism trips for Lucas and Craig were successful. Who knew producer Craig was a stallion? There's a lot of nice Craig ones. Wait, has Craig been Jacob Elordi's stunt double this whole time? Craig, was that your mom? I don't know who that was. But have sent this around as a marry kill, and so far unanimous for Lucas.
This didn't end well.
With a qualifier 10 minutes later, this person subtweeted themselves saying, "Oh, apparently they all meant Craig. Sorry, was hard to know." Took some cross-referencing. And then finally, feel like the 2024 tickets will be brought to you by Horizon: An American Saga Part 2.
No, they'll be brought to you by Joker Folie à Deux.
Well, this was before Joker came out. So, yeah. All right. So, before we start, Craig, can you tell us, last year we did this, who won and lost? Sorry. Can you tell us? No. Let me say it again. Craig, can you tell us last year what our picks were and the buys and lows? Where is Craig? No. I mean, should we do that or should we just skip it? Or do you want me to read it? All right. Yeah. I will. This is a professional operation here.
I got it in front of me if you want.
Yeah, you read it.
Okay. So my buys were Travis Kelce, who sold his podcast for $100 million.
That's pretty good.
And that anime in Japan were supplanting South Korea in terms of film and television. Godzilla -1 came right after that. I'm going to take that as a win.
Okay. All right. And they also had another Godzilla hit.
Yeah.
Before or after?
I don't remember.
All right.
Do you want to do your buys or my sells next?
Your sells.
My sells were music docs, because this was right around the Taylor Swift That's fine.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy Adam Aaron at AMC. All of the artists that he claimed were knocking down his door to do music docs with them hasn't really happened.
Nope. Sam Levinson, feel great about that one.
Oh, the Euphoria
This is the creator
yeah.
of Euphoria, who had the Idol Total Disaster show. Supposedly, season 3 of Euphoria is back on track, but we'll see.
They're going to be like, graduating college. Yeah.
And then the third one was Netflix's ad business, which I feel like is still a big question mark.
You sold Netflix's ad business?
I
That's not
decided
bad.
to roll the dice.
Yeah. All right, I'll take that.
Your-
How about mine?
Your buys were music docs, so we disagreed on that one.
Okay, well, it's hard. I mean, who's winning that one?
Yeah, nobody.
We don't know.
Another buy was bundles, which I feel like.
That's good. I mean, I feel like bundles has sort of dominated the conversation for the year.
And then you were selling agencies and Paramount Global.
Well, Paramount Global literally did sell, so I'll take a victory lap on that one. And this was before it was reported, so I'll take a victory on that one. And then what was it again?
Talent agencies.
Talent agencies. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like the CAA deal is pretty big, and
That happened right before.
okay, so
I think you were just thinking the strike after that, like the contraction would be bad for the agency,
Yeah.
which has been true. But CAA, WME, UTA,
they've done shadow layoffs, a lot of them. So,
Yeah.
all right, whatever. It's a wash. Okay, so that is the precursor for this year. Let's start with you. I'll give you the first buy.
First buy. Okay, I'm buying low on J-Lo.
Oh, interesting.
Had a terrible year. And setting aside the divorce, the PR around her
But
failed
we've
concert.
talked about this. Was it really that terrible? She's still a big streaming star. She's got
Yeah, I think her
The mother
reputation-
showed up in the Netflix data
I think
dump.
her reputation is kind of in the toilet right now.
Okay.
Mostly because of music. And I think she needs a little bit. This is where like talent agents or managers or whoever her representatives
Benny
play a
Medina
role.
is her
Benny
one.
Medina, her manager, yes. You got to sit her down and say, okay, you need to take a break, like take 9 months off, take a year off, and reinvent yourself. Like pick a movie that will redefine who you are for the average person because you're talented. People like you. They don't hate you. And you just need to cool off and then come back in a big way.
You don't think she should just make 5 streaming
Netflix
movies and,
She can do that. She might. It's the Sandler playbook.
Yeah, they're still paying her. She'll make 20, 25 million to do that stuff.
It's just not interesting.
Not to you, but maybe to her, real estate agent. It's important to her.
Fair.
She just did an interview with the LA Times, I think, talking about her breakup, and that's
Yes.
probably the I'm moving on, what's next interview.
Yeah, probably.
All right, that's not bad. I'm going to take one, and you're going to tell me that it's not a buy low here, but I'm going to buy Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, what's low about
The
it?
low, we have talked a lot about their creative lows. And
I
the
thought
problems-
about this and I couldn't justify it as a low.
It's a low. I mean, I think creatively they have had lots of problems that you and I have both written about. They have had a lot of questions around their strategy within the community. They've had questions about whether the Thursday Night Football experiment was
that's a win.
working. That is clearly a win now. And I think with the news that Mike Hopkins broke last night with Apple TV Plus coming to Amazon, that is a huge flex that's going up against one of the biggest companies in the world saying,
You need
know
us
what?
more than we need you.
Exactly. You need us more than we need you. And we are doing things in video that you've tried for the past 5 years to do. You cannot do. You are not building your audience enough to compete. And welcome to Prime Video. We're glad to have you.
I think Amazon's in a great position. I just don't think it's a buy low because they're depending on how you calculate it, the second or third biggest paid streaming service. They're
With
already,
a huge advantage.
They're a huge seller of others. They have a lot of good shows. They just I feel like they've found their footing the last couple of years between
Well,
football.
there you just made my argument.
No, because you could have bought low on them like 2 years ago.
Okay, maybe it's a little outdated. But I am still buying. I think there's a lot of upside on Prime Video right now. They are basically becoming television for the next generation, and I think that in this race to become the gatekeeper for all the channels and the one-stop shop for every kind of content that Netflix wants to be, but at least on the ad side of the business, they aren't yet.
Yeah.
Amazon on the ad business, they are, by all
Wrecked
measurements,
everyone.
they are
Yeah.
doing better than everybody else, again, with a big advantage in having this business elsewhere in their company. And on the movie side, they've had troubles, but they're at least, in my opinion, they have the right strategy. They have the right strategy where they are offering theaters for a big chunk of their movies where they can monetize them there and they can get the best projects. I mean, you and I have written about projects that are out right now, A-list talent. Doesn't matter what the dollar amount is, they just don't want to go to Netflix because they can't get theaters. And they know they can't get theaters. And Apple is sort of
I think movies is
Amazon still is
the hard one for Amazon. These tech companies just haven't figured out the movie business. They're great at TV. They just haven't really figured out how to do the movie thing. And
they just hired Scott Stuber away. Arguably we'll see what ends up happening there. But they're making the right. They're stocking their pond with seasoned traditional film executives, which you can't say at Apple.
Right.
So, all right, that's my big buy.
Okay, do you want me to do another buy, or am I going
to sell? Do a sell.
I'm gonna reverse myself from last year.
Oh,
I'm now selling Travis Kelce. I bought on the way up, and I'm selling on the way down.
You're profit taking.
Yes.
Interesting.
I bought low. His stock is at an all-time high, and I can cash out.
Does this mean you've seen some screeners of Grotesquerie and you know what his performance looks like? It has not aired, I don't believe.
I have not seen any screeners of Grotesquerie.
Or Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity, his game show that's coming out?
No.
You have not seen that.
That's on Amazon. You got to be buying that.
That's like a minor thing, and people will watch. I guarantee you.
Look, the real danger with the sell here is some of his fate is tied to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And you can't control that.
So are you believing the gossip pages that they're in trouble or whatever?
I don't know about that. But I feel like as a football player, he's probably got, look, the Chiefs are really good right now, but he's got a couple of years left. Is he going to be a big star after that? Are people going to want to keep listening and watching? I don't know. I find his brother way more compelling.
But so you're taking profits after the big podcast deal.
Yeah.
I think the podcast deal could be what he ultimately does full time. And that's not a bad gig. They're getting paid a lot if they can grow the audience.
I just don't know that the interest in that podcast is going to last in the way that it does for some of the other big sports podcasts.
Okay, but we talked about this. It's essentially a stock tied to the Taylor Swift stock. So
I don't think, well, first of all,
if they get
there's a small part.
He will be chronicling the Taylor Swift child live every week.
The marriage
that is very valuable.
The marriage and kid is definitely the danger. There is a small part of me. I couldn't go the full sell Taylor Swift, but if we're talking about peak, I don't know that there's.
Whoa! Did you just suggest internet? Please. No. Did you just suggest selling Taylor Swift?
No, I just don't think she can get even bigger.
Okay.
I think she will remain the most famous person in the world for a good period of time. But I feel like that she is at a peak that is ultimately unsustainable.
Okay. That's fair. Musically, I mean, and I don't know what you thought of her latest album, but it did very well, despite a lot of people saying that it wasn't great.
Yeah,
so
she's cracked the fan model, no question.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let that sell. My sell, I'm going to sell Lena Khan at the FCC. Sorry, the FEC.
Man, you're just pandering to these.
No, I'm not, because
here.
So obviously the chair of the FEC, she's very the FTC. Sorry, she's very powerful. She's been going after big companies. And the speculation is basically if Donald Trump wins, she'll be out, and if the Democrats win, she'll stay. But I actually don't think she'll stay either way. I think that Harris is so much closer to Silicon Valley and the kinds of donors that care about one thing, and that's the ability to grow their business, that whoever wins this election is going to go after her and replace her at the FTC.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Why would you keep it the same? It's been so controversial. I mean, look, Kamala likes to try to flex her progressive bona fides, but in this election, you've noticed her really shifting to the center.
Most people think that's fake, and that once she wins, she will go back and be progressive.
This is not an election podcast, but I think there are elements of her politics that are progressive. Certainly when it comes to women's rights, certainly when it comes to some sort of like socioeconomic and racial issues. But when it comes to, business and crime and on those topics, I don't think she's super progressive.
I think it's just a matter of who her backers are. I mean, look what Ben Horowitz is doing. He's splitting from Trump and his own partner at Andreessen to give her money.
Yeah.
And you don't do that unless you expect some chips to cash in if she wins. And one of them, there will be a party in the Stanford Square if Lena Khan is ousted.
The more interesting question for me, I guess, is will her philosophy and strategy endure?
No. I don't think so.
Because she has had a serious effect on how we view antitrust and monopolies.
Yeah.
And some of it,
and there are cases
in my
that are
opinion,
gonna be
totally logical,
ongoing.
right? Like this notion that her original theory about Amazon made a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right. Another buy.
Another buy. What do I want to do next? I have two fun ones.
Oh.
I'm going to buy DC Studios.
Oh, okay. So you think Superman's going to work?
Doesn't matter if it works. I think.
What? Are you kidding?
Let me finish.
You yourself tweeted 5 bombs in a row.
I know, and I got some angry phone calls.
Yeah.
If you examine the box office performance of movies over the last 2 decades, DC has always suffered, not because its movies have failed, although recently they have, but because it has suffered by comparison to Marvel. I still think that DC is an incredibly strong franchise with lots of characters that work in film and television. You've got Penguin on Max right now. That's a big hit. I think there will be more where that came from. And James Gunn knows how to make a fun superhero movie. And I feel like whether it's Superman or another, they're going to crack that. There is real affection still for Batman. I don't know if this will be right away, but I think this recent cold streak will end because they have really compelling characters that will work. And it's proven that at the box office, you need IP and characters to have a big hit. And so I think.
Then why does it not matter if Superman works? I mean,
I think it matters, but I don't believe
chips on Superman.
Yeah, I just don't believe you have to put it all on one movie. But especially when you're taking a diversified approach across film and television. But yeah, I don't think Superman will be nearly as big a failure as what we've seen with Joker and some of the other recent movies.
Okay. I will take that under advisement. Okay. Not that I'm down on DC. I just feel like
you hate comic books. It's okay.
No, I don't. I just feel like they haven't shown what's going to be different yet. And James Gunn has great track record, but Superman is a really tough character.
Yeah.
It's
nothing
really
very
tough.
fun about Superman.
Yeah, and he can't be killed, and he's kind
where's
of
the drama?
Yeah, not great. All right, yeah, I actually had as my shadow by Todd Phillips because I think he's now been shamed and put in seclusion, and he's going to come back with something super commercial, and Warner's will make it, and it will be a hit.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, so let's go to my buy, and I this one is a. It's not like it's doing bad.
So you're not actually.
No. But it's been an also ran.
Okay.
I'm going into the fast world, the free streamers.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Pluto TV, which is not.
It's slipped. It used to be number one, and now
it used to be up there with Tubi, up there with Roku Channel, and at least on the Nielsen gauge, it has really slipped. I feel like it's been caught up in a lot of the Paramount Global sale downsizing nonsense.
Okay.
But I'm gonna buy Pluto TV because ultimately I think that I believe in that sector. I'm a sector fan, and I think that if I don't think they'll be sold by the new regime.
Right.
I think they will be integrated better into the streaming plan for Paramount Plus and whatever that becomes. And there's a long runway for growth.
Do you have a theory for why, while Roku Channel and Tubi have exploded over the last couple of years, that Pluto basically plateaued?
Original content.
But so little of the viewing on Tubi is originals. It's
true.
And Roku, same. It's like
but
the
they
Weird
do that
Al
stuff,
movie
but
is not why it's suddenly
no, but they're advertising the Weird Al movie,
right?
And they're raising
so it's marketing,
awareness.
whereas Paramount's not marketing Pluto.
They're not. I mean, we're seeing a little bit lately, but when you don't have anything to market, there's not a lot of buzz around it. It's like, oh, come watch reruns of Johnny Carson. Like,
right.
That's not exciting when you're marketing. I also think that the integration into Paramount hasn't been great. Like they're not they haven't explained the value proposition of Pluto vis-a-vis Paramount Plus.
Right.
Whereas Tubi gets the full marketing muscle of Fox.
Yeah.
And when you watch football or when you watch these other
Paramount's busy pumping Paramount Plus during the NFL.
Exactly.
I also think that Tubi identified an audience, right? It like mostly targeted sort of Black and Hispanic viewers.
I mean, yeah, not. I don't think it's. I mean, I haven't seen the demos, but they have a large audience there, but it's not exclusively.
No. But what
if you watch their marketing, they're not saying that.
But they identified an audience that was underserved that has been to their advantage, and Roku has the advantage of having a captive audience in the Roku channel.
83 million people.
Pluto doesn't really have anything like that lifted up. But so I guess I'll be curious. So you're putting money on the new regime at Paramount, figuring out how to breathe the new life into
I think
Pluto.
so. Yeah. Okay. And it doesn't mean they're going to replace everybody there. They may just simply give them more resources.
Yeah.
And they may say, okay, well, we're going to actually turn this into something and maybe put some originals on Pluto and try to grow there.
Okay.
But you're skeptical.
No, I'm a little skeptical, but I'll go with it.
All right, so
my next sell.
your next sell.
John Krasinski.
Oh, dagger out. Why? How dare you?
2 reasons. One of which is going to get me into trouble.
You can say that is a generally known fact.
I'm getting there.
Right.
So, if was his latest movie, didn't work.
Arguable. I mean, it wasn't an outright flop, but not what they wanted.
Okay, he spent more than $100 million. They made like 200. That's not a win. His big bona fides on the movie side are Quiet Place, which franchise, no question. My understanding is he maybe took a little more credit for the script on that first movie than was deserved.
You're coming after his WGA credit.
No, he definitely deserved credit, but I think he was like this was all me in a way.
Sure.
That,
He seized control of that franchise.
correct. And look, he made it work. All credit to him. But between the stories around that and then like the to your point,
Jack Reacher stuff.
everyone who's worked on Jack Ryan says that he's a nightmare.
Yeah. Multiple showrunners, people that won't work with him again.
So, look, it's probably foolish to bet against jerks because there are a lot of jerks in Hollywood.
And he also, I believe he's up there with the highest paid people ever in television for that last season. He was making outrageous money.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about his take home. I feel like he is seen as like one of the guys, and I'm a little skeptical about what's coming next for him. I feel like there'll be a little
Matt and
karma.
Ben will turn their back on him. He's like in their crew. No, you don't know.
No, they're loyal guys.
Yeah, you don't know. I don't know. I'm skeptical of that. I think he's castable. He's very castable. You could plug him into a big franchise. You could base a movie around him, and people would maybe see it at a certain budget. And I think that if he comes back with an original script, there would be an auction situation.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So we'll see. I think he's got to have an outright flop. He's got to have his version of a Horizon or Joker or one of those. Okay, so you're not going to like my last sell because it's not a company that's doing great. But I'm going to sell Lionsgate. Listen, this is a company that has sort of been trying every financial machination to become more appealing to a buyer and to the market. They split the company into Stars and the studio, and both are down 30% this year. I think that the conventional wisdom is that the record run of bombs they've had over the past 2 months, 5 or 6 movies in theaters that haven't worked, is going to be rectified next year. And because they've got a John Wick spinoff, and they've got a Mark Wahlberg movie directed by Mel Gibson, and they've got a couple of other big movies coming out. Another Saw. I don't think.
I'm not sure I'm putting a Mark Wahlberg movie directed by Mel Gibson as a
I don't know.
big
Have you seen the
movie.
trailer? The trailer actually looks pretty good. They think for a Lionsgate movie, and if you actually go and look at Mel Gibson movies, they actually do well. But whatever.
Look, Lionsgate Stars is in a tough spot because it was the number 3 premium cable network, and then all these streamers came in, and both Showtime and Stars basically got pushed to the side. Lionsgate is a studio that in theory should be able to benefit from this moment. It's a neutral party arms dealer, but it doesn't have the depth
We talked about Sony last week, and Sony is in a much better situation than Lions. By the way, I got a number of emails. We did not, when discussing Sony, we did not discuss the IP they have from PlayStation and from the gaming side, which is significant.
Yeah.
So apologies to Sony people.
Yes, all the people who emailed you saying, how dare you.
I know. Mostly Last of Us fans.
Yes, Lionsgate doesn't have as much IP, so I get it. I just feel like you completely disregarded the format.
A little bit. No, I guess I was going off the fact that I've heard a lot of people talking about how like Lionsgate is in survive till 25 mode, and they are going to turn the ship around next year.
Yeah.
I don't think this ship is turnaroundable.
So you have more faith in the theatrical movie business than Lionsgate?
I have less faith in Lionsgate because of the situation in theatrical.
Got it.
I just feel like the kinds of movies that Lionsgate has made its bread and butter, these like lower budget, mid-tier, action-y kind of movies, those are the kinds of movies that are no longer working.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm putting it. And I had a bunch of smaller ones.
I have one buy that's specifically for a colleague of yours.
Oh. Who?
I'm buying low on Chris Licht.
A colleague of mine?
Yeah, Dylan.
Oh, Dylan Byers. Yeah. I thought you were like saying he works for us. Why are you buying him?
It's fun.
Because he's out and about trying to get another job.
He's a talented TV producer who up in a big job.
Yeah.
But has a way bigger track record of doing well than doing badly, and it didn't like do anything ethically horrible.
True.
He will be welcomed back at some point, and he will.
He did a very bad interview with The Atlantic. That is mostly is mostly his.
How many bad interviews have other CEOs done and get to keep their job?
Very true. Hopefully, some of them will do them later today with you.
One can dream.
I'm selling also the Oasis tour.
Oh, why?
Because I don't think they're going to make it.
Got it.
I mean,
Pino last night said it was going to be the biggest tour of next year.
Yeah, did he say if they actually perform all the dates?
No, he didn't say that.
So yeah, this thing looks like disaster waiting to happen. There's a documentary film crew like filming the entire thing, and I think they're not going to make it out of the UK.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm selling that, which is a bummer. I have tickets for the Rose Bowl, but whatever.
I think you'll make it.
I'm selling Bong Joon-ho.
You don't think the new movie looks good?
I mean, Warner's is telling us it's not good. I mean, we've talked about this.
Got it.
They put the follow-up
to the date.
They put the follow-up to the Best Picture winner, Parasite, in late January with no awards platform.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That tells you they are going to try a cash grab because it's got Robert Pattinson in it, and it's not good.
See, so
I want to be wrong, but I don't think so.
We're going to pile on the Koreans because I was debating selling K-pop.
You can go ahead.
I think it's peaked a little bit. BTS is still on hiatus. If you actually look at the data, their sales are great, but not a lot of people listen to the music.
Okay.
And Japanese pop is coming for them.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. A lot of work being done there.
Are you a fan of Japanese pop?
No.
But it's the numbers suggest that it's
the number. You talk to people, and that's what's bubbling up right now.
Okay. My others are. I'm selling Wolves 2.
There is no Wolves 2.
Thank you very much. Even though they've announced Wolves 2, that's not.
I think we need to define high and low for you next year.
I'm also selling Horizon 3 and 4.
That's
Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner booked another job today.
You wanted to come and take cheap shots at people. I can make a list of.
Mr. John Krasinski, you're going to tell me I'm making cheap shots.
No, but that is selling high. He's a huge star. I'll probably look stupid in a year.
Yeah, okay, there's the blurb right there. All right, Craig, are we out of time? Okay, we can take one question from the audience.
I have 4 right here if you want.
Oh.
But I think the first one probably makes the most sense.
Are you buying sports stocks? It's funny because we talked about this, and my shadow sell is sports stocks. Yeah, I think the market's completely glutted, and every big athlete is either in one or has got one coming.
And they're too involved. I was going to sell it, and then I was at dinner earlier this week with a couple of people who are involved in Starting Five, the new basketball one. And they're like, our show's going to be the #1 show on Netflix. It'll look really stupid to sell. And I get what they're saying. If you have that caliber of talent involved, people will still click on it because you see LeBron's face on Netflix and you go, of course I'll watch it. But I don't. But there's a whole middle ground, like the Drive to Survive kind of not rip-offs, but derivatives of that all failed to do as well, right? Like the tennis one got canceled after 2 years. The golf one is still going strong, but doesn't have the same buzz around it. There was a surfing
How's
one.
receiver doing?
I think receiver actually. But quarterback did well.
Quarterback did well, but that's my point. It's
Yeah.
like we've done the A-list. It's
Right.
like how
The
many times
B-list
can
and the
Serena
C-list.
Williams sell her story?
Yeah.
Like she's done several of these, and these athletes and a lot of them are not good because their participation and their producers on it, and you don't get much access more than what they want to show you. I just think I think that in a year or two we'll be looking back at the heyday of sports stocks.
Yeah.
So, all right, one more. This one's for you. What do you think Coachella is going to do next? Miley Cyrus. Craig called it.
I don't have a prediction. The context is I reported that Kendrick Lamar and Rihanna passed, and they're having a hard time booking, and now they're. But I don't know who they're going to book. I think Coachella will have another down couple of years, but eventually Paul Tillett will pull together something great that brings it back.
So you don't think Miley Cyrus is an option?
I think she could, but I have
Supposedly has a new
I have
album
no
coming.
idea if she's touring next year.
Yeah, and she hasn't. Apparently, she hasn't toured in a decade. So that'd be a get.
Yeah.
I will trust your reporting on that. I don't know who's going to Coachella or not. Although I do know one person who's not going, and that is me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this live recording. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Lucas for hosting us. We'll see you later.